Hi, everyone. It's Leah Arnold. I'm really excited for today's Learning Together episode. I know it's been a while. I have the one and only Kenny Arnold, happens to be my brother, and we are now working together at Structured Solutions. So excited to talk to him and all about the world of schedulers, project planning, project controls, and especially SSI tools and how we can help. So thanks, Kenny, for joining.
Thanks for having me on your first Learning Together as an SSI associate.
I know, it's pretty exciting. So first, can you introduce yourself and tell everyone who you are and a little bit about your background and role?
Yeah. Well, hi, everyone. My name's Kenny Arnold. My official title, I suppose, is the Chief Information Officer of Structured Solutions. However, as a small business, we each of us do a lot of different things. So I really see myself more as like a do everything kind of person. There's just no title for that, but I do a lot of scheduling consulting myself for our clients. I am the chief developer and the product manager of our software product, SSI Tools. Prior to you coming on, I was leading all the marketing efforts and all the sales efforts. I also do all the customer support. And so there's lots of different hats that I wear as, part of my leadership role with SSI.
Yes, no, and I'm finding that as well as being part of a small business. We definitely wear multiple hats, but it's been great coming on board and all the technology that you've been able to implement, and just the fact that you've been able to help modernize a lot of our tools, which is super important, especially going on into the future. So tell me
Yeah.
a little bit more about the background and like the role about the scheduler. So who does Structured Solutions support? Who do you particular support?
Yeah. So our products and really our niche in the industry is we are all about project planning and scheduling and earn value, but mostly I would say our focus is on planning and scheduling. It just so happens that as part of the planning and scheduling role, there's a lot of earned value duties that will come into that as well. So when we go and do consulting roles for jobs, we're coming in to fulfill that planning and scheduling role, or to assist them with their planning and scheduling efforts. And all of our tools are designed for the tactical, meaning like the worker bees, the people who are rolling their sleeves up and are the actual planners and schedulers working in the scheduling tool called Microsoft Project, building up the schedules and doing the data analyses and all that stuff, which is really key for the business management of any kind of big engineering project.
Yeah. So when you say big engineering project, can you give an example of what, maybe the scheduler might be working on, or, why is it important?
Yeah. So when I say big engineering project, I'm talking about like a very large scale project where there's a lot of moving parts and a lot of things that a lot of people have to come together to be able to build. So we're talking things that are usually funded by governments, like large scale projects. We're talking something like maybe we need a satellite that's going to be able to observe, a light that's, 300 million light years away. I don't know if that's exactly, how far satellites can see, or maybe that's a small number. But some project like that, a lot of defense type projects, so things that are designed to or built to help keep countries safe. It could be things like a skyscraper or a sewer system.
Okay, great. So the scheduler essentially is helping manage all the tasks that, have to happen in order to build whatever that might be. Is that correct?
Yeah. Like I said, there's a lot of different moving parts that come along with that. And so a lot of people, when they hear that role, planning and scheduling, they tend to think of, if they're not familiar with this industry, they'll think of, oh, are you a secretary? Like, do you keep
Right.
track of people's schedules? Like, do you put events on their like Outlook calendar or like their Gmail calendar or whatever it is? And that couldn't be further from what we actually do in this
Yeah.
role. This is a very complex role. It's a very technical role. So to manage a schedule for these kind of large scale engineering projects, you have to know a lot of things. You have to understand how the product works. You have to be able to know which things are going to occur before other things can occur, so you can provide valuable information to your team, which is really, we build the schedules to be able to have foresight into the future, make sure that we know which things are of critical importance, which things that we have to do. And if you're not doing that whole process with these big engineering projects, a lot of things will end up falling through the cracks. Things won't get done, or people will be like, oh shoot, we forgot that was something that we had to do, and now we're going to be 6 months late because we forgot about this one particular task. We also use the schedule to manage a lot of costs and time phased data, so we can see how we're utilizing costs across time.
Yeah.
So the project can effectively manage the resources. So aside from just costs, we're able to see like labor information as well, because you have tasks that are in the schedule and they'll be linked to other tasks, and eventually, that spans through time.
Yeah.
And those tasks will have labor resources assigned to them, right? Maybe you need like 3 electrical engineers to do a certain task, and those electrical engineers cost a certain amount per hour. And so we're going to be able to see what that is, so we can effectively manage our resources through time. Because of course, the project manager doesn't want to get into a situation where they have overloaded or underloaded their resources.
Right. Yeah. No, that makes a lot of sense. It's a definitely an interesting role. I'm learning so much. But okay, so let's shift gears a little bit. Tell everyone about structured solutions, SSI tools. How do we help this particular role, and what's the benefit?
Yeah. So just structured solutions was actually started by our father back about 30 years ago in 1994. So he was working for a company called Motorola at the time. They were actually doing, at the time, they were doing some government contracts. So they were building some technologies for the United States government. So our father, he was assigned into doing the kind of the scheduling role for that. So he was, just getting started, using early versions of Microsoft Project, and was being asked to build the schedules and work with the team to make sure that they knew the dependencies between tasks and which things needed to be done before other things. And along the way, when he was doing that, he found that Microsoft, which makes the Microsoft Project tool, makes it very easy for developers to actually create kind of custom scripts to automate things in their tools.
Yeah.
So he started doing a little bit of that, kind of just self-taught. He would be working with team members, and he would click a button and it would do something automatic in project. And they would say, oh, how did you do that? And so anyways, he at a certain point realized that he could actually build a business off of that. So he went off on his own and started just doing scheduling, consulting, and building these tools. So that's kind of how Structured Solutions got started. Back in the day, it was all about scheduling. Today, it's still all about project scheduling. We're still essentially making kind of that magic happen for people who are doing the scheduling roles, where you can just click a button and something automatic happens, and people who you're working with will say, wow, how'd you get that path?
Yeah.
How'd you get that driving path to that thing so quickly?
Yeah. No, it's been cool being on demos and hearing, the customer feedback. Super excited about some of the capabilities. Can you just talk very high level, like what are some of the capabilities that are available that we could do using the tool?
Yeah, so I think our most popular tools would be our dependency analysis tools. So these exist in our add-in for Microsoft Project. And so they, with a single button, you can get a driving path to anything in the schedule. So that's really important for people, not just that they understand when things are happening, but they understand why things are happening at those points. Right. So they can see what chain of tasks drives that key event. So that's really powerful information for folks to know. And it's asked for a lot of the time, because those are the items that, if they were to be delayed at all, are going to cause delays to important events in your schedule. So you really want to make sure that you're paying attention to those things. We have another tool that will help you kind of look at, evaluate dependencies on a task that you're selected on, and see which of the dependencies is driving, which are not, how much room they have before they begin to drive. We also have a whole bunch of auditing tools. Like I said, this job is a very technical job. Microsoft Project is also a very technical tool. You have to really know what you're doing in order to be able to build good schedules in Microsoft Project. And there are a lot of things that you can do in the tool that will kind of compromise the data in it, or make it so it's untrustworthy. So we have auditing tools that will help you audit the schedule to make sure that you are not doing anything that would compromise the schedule data, do those kind of quality control checks. There's something called the DCMA 14-point assessment. The Defense Contract Management Agency in the United States basically said, hey, we think that these 14 audits are really important to the health of a schedule. People who are using Microsoft Project are asked to produce that all the time. We have tools that will help them do that. We have tools that will help them analyze their resources, again, across time, so they can really understand how they're utilizing them. Tools to help them take status in their project files. There's a very particular way that you need to do it. So we have tools that will help you out with that and help you collect inputs from your team members on which things need to be updated. We can do things like a schedule risk assessment, which tells you how likely you are to meet certain key events in your schedule, doing a Monte Carlo simulation. We have tools that will help you integrate sub-project files into a big master file, and then also synchronize sub-project files up with other files if there are kind of these cross-project dependencies or givers and receivers between the project files. We also have a whole bunch of analyses tools that will help you do earned value management analyses straight out of your Microsoft project file, be able to create kind of flat copies of your file to bridge into cost systems.
Yeah.
And then we have a tool that will help you create executive level or management level presentations, kind of summarizing your scheduled data in PowerPoint slides.
Yeah, and that's part of because we have the add-on SSI add-on for Microsoft Project, but also for PowerPoint and for Excel. This is great. Thanks so much, Kenny, for talking about structured solutions and just the role of the planner. Just to wrap things up, maybe if there's like one tip or trick or just piece of advice that you might have for schedulers or people that are in this role.
Yeah, a lot of people who are doing scheduling, they can sometimes feel like they're just another cog in the machine, right? Like everything is going to happen regardless if but my experience, again, if you're, really taking initiative and getting in there and being able to provide all sorts of analyses and understand your schedule, you can be a really key player in the business management of a big contract and someone who's really important to the success of the project. So I would encourage people just to remember that when they're doing this job. The other thing that I would say is if you are new to scheduling, don't worry, there's a lot of resources that are out there to kind of help you get up to speed, and a lot of resources that our organization, Structured Solutions, has published.
Absolutely.
I have some just general scheduling videos on our YouTube channel that I think are good for people who are new to scheduling, even people who have been doing scheduling for a long time.
Yeah, I'll post our YouTube channel link in the comments so people can access that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, use the SSI. I mean, we definitely are helping our customers, and we've been helping for 30 years, and we see the future of SSI bright, especially as working with Kenny, and I'm super excited to join on board and use a lot of the knowledge that I gained from Forrester to help take this company to the next level. So yeah, thanks everyone for listening. And if you are interested, if you don't have access to SSI tools, send me a message. Happy to send you a trial link for 30 days. Or if you just want some training or consulting, we do that as well. Feel free to message me or Kenny. I'll put Kenny's bio in here so you can follow him, and of course, follow Structured Solutions. So thanks everyone. Thanks, Kenny.
Thank you, Leah. Thanks everyone.